Okay, well, we're back. I thought I slept. I guess it doesn't save when I sleep. To me, that is a little strange. A little strange. A wee bit strange. Yeah, so we're just gonna save. Oh, God. Alright, well, from here, this is what we're gonna do. We need to make some fucking scraps. Absolutely confirmed that we're gonna get a scrap with that. Oh God, I need at least two actually. Can we try again? Hopefully, I'm fine. I'm fine. That is great. Okay. Um, I'm gonna go to the Ram. I'm gonna go buy a veggie burger. That's not a veggie burger. That's something stupid. The ort exchange. Oh yeah, the exchange. Um, let's go to the stall. Put in some cryo. Buy a burgie. Ooh, we'd love to see that shit. Sorry, my allergies are acting up. Had to take a fucking Claritin for like the first time in like the longest time. In the longest time. Yeah, what does it want me to do again? Oh, there's a ton of things I need to do. Okay. This one's risky. Maybe I don't do something that's that risky. They do the flux data. I don't have something that will give me flux. Right, I need to make the Matsutake shit. Briar Camp. Can I make myself better? Okay, now I have to use another one. I always need to do this a little bit. There we go. Do a little bit of this, a little bit of that. Yeah, how do I make more of these Matsutake commune? That gives me energy. Oh, I only have two. Maybe I need to make some. Mushroom Grove. No, no, no. What we're gonna do is we are going to get 2 grove spores, right? Wait, what do we do with the spores? I'm confused. Okay, I make... Oh, is it with the garden? I gotta germinate. Oh, I have to wait. Okay, I see, I see, I see. Now I remember. Now I recall. Let's try this. Pilgrim. Hey, look at that. Alright, that's pretty good. So now we end our little cycle. Our little cycle. Oh, God damn it. Ooh, you know what? Hold on. Here we are, the flux node. The node flickers in and out, its position shifting each time. Let's bypass that node. Extract the data. +1 flux data. Cool. Ooh. Took a lot out of me. Let's cross the rim. Got a Bergie in me. Good thing I'm like a pretty rich dude. I have to go pretty far for a fucking Bergie, my guy. That is pretty far for a Bergie. Okay. We can give her the flux data now. Here. Peak receives the data on their slate and begins work decoding it immediately. Sleeper, come look at this. Peak is poring over one of the displays of the makeshift decoding suite they have set up in the climbing Briar's cargo bay. On the screen, a clump of data pathways, like an ingrown root ball, has started to untangle. This is an existing node, corrupted by the flux event. It's totally twisted up. They glance at you to check you are listening. But inside, you watch as the unwinding pathways leaves behind the patterns of negative spaces, like shadows staying behind despite their caster leaving. Is a whole other data set. Peak's eyes shine bright in the pale screen light. The flux event somehow seeds this data deep into the gaps in the node, wrapping them around it. The flux event somehow seeds this data deep into the gaps of the node. It's kind of like one of those like a weed, like one of those like weeds that just like kind of like finds places and like wraps around it. You know what I mean? And like, is it so it doesn't? Maybe I'm just thinking that because it's like said seeds. Maybe so it's harder to get rid of the. Why? Peak pauses. I have no idea. You watch the screen. The patterns of shadow becomes obvious now as each layer of pathways is pulled away. The flux event itself really did a number on unprotected nodes like this one. Most of the eye's systems are screened against radiation interference, but these exposed nodes? Beak makes a ripping motion with her hands. Torn apart. Beak points to a thick tangle of threads on the screen. Look, here. It looks like it's been tangled purposefully, but it's actually that all the points within the node have been randomly rearranged. It's as if the node was a bag of ball bearings, and the flux shook them. The pathways tried to account for the rearrangement once the system came back on, hence the tangle. Peak pauses as the node continues to unwind. Although, Peak muses, it was less like shaking a bag of ball bearings, and more like making them all simultaneously occupy a superposition of every possible position in the bag before locking them back into a new configuration. They say sheepishly, but that's a technicality. Making them all simultaneously occupy a superposition of every possible position. Huh. So what is the flux? We know it is a wave, one with exotic effects. That's all. Peak runs a hand through their hair. The question is not so much what flux is, but what is causing it and where it's coming from. Peak turns away from the screen, meeting your eye. And there's something else. They pause. Have you spoken with the refugees? A little. Peak lowers their voice instinctively. What they are reporting? Massive system failures? Cascading collapses of life support? Of terraforming systems? Total data corruption? Peak swallows. Oh god, we don't want that. Is this actually going to be an argument for them not to be integrated into the eye because we don't want this to be part of the eye? I mean, if this is part of their flotilla, if there's this issue, what if it comes to the eye? The flux shouldn't do that. It can fundamentally rearrange the structure of systems, especially those poorly shielded, but totally collapsing heavy-duty industrial systems, fail-safes and all? That doesn't make sense. Those kinds of systems are built for deep space, for solar flares and radiation. The flux might penetrate them, but any reconfiguration should have been repairable. Peak looks back at the screen, where the decoding node lies almost fully open. A shadow pattern of the negative spaces that existed within its scrambled interior darkens the screen, like a set of bruises showing the pattern of the object that made them. I need to look into something. I have an idea what might be causing this wave, triggering the flux, but I need time to research it. What is it? Peak frowns. I don't want to say for now. Not until I'm sure. If you need something to do, the flotilla could surely do with the help. From what I've heard from Esh, things are tense there. Where is Esh? Peak glances around the bay. Must be out. I've been focusing on this, so I can't say I've noticed. Although the quiet is nice. They smile. Give me some time, Sleeper. Peak turns back to the console. I'll have some answers soon enough, I hope. You take one last glance at the uncoiling node as you leave. The dark shape it leaves behind somehow troubling. You try to shake them from your mind. There are things to be done elsewhere. That's true. So we can do some of this. Give it a little cap. A little bit of this. And then do we... Oh, shoot. Docking axe. Oh, shit. We have shit we need to do here, too. Let's make it 100% positive. We have to unload some supplies. Woo. Make yourself useful. Okay. Let's do some system repair here, too. Yeah, we're useful. We're useful, baby. Hey, baby. Yeah, self-repair. Alright, now we end the cycle. Hungry. Oh, I got low dice this time. Gotta be careful, actually. Let's try unloading some supplies here. Okay, pretty good. One more? Can we do it? Hell yeah. All done. Look at that. You worked through the supplies. Oh yeah. There's a loose crowd around the supplies you have unloaded, and a tense mood brewing among them. You sit nearby, on the edge of the shuttle's docking tunnel, resting. Further away crews from Ember's Song continue their lives as usual, coming and going, trading, discussing. There's a quiet efficiency to the hub, set up as a common space for the swarm of small ships from Ember's Song that are part of the flotilla. Unlike Hearth or Steppe, there's no one capital ship for the moon's refugees. Just a mass of individuals traveling in concert. Like Hearth or Steppe. Interesting. No one capital ship. It's just all of them are... So yeah, the Hearth, Ember's Hearth and Ember's Steppe. The ships from the moon there, they have like a kind of like... So there's three different like crews that are part of... Or there's three different... Sorry, this may be obvious. So maybe I'm speaking to the choir a little bit. But there's three different crews here. Or there's not... There's three different peoples here. There's the people from the Embers of the Ember's three moons. Or not, is it the Ember? I forget. There's the Ember. So the Ember was a planet, and there's people who lived on the three moons of the Ember. So there was the Song, there's the Hearth, and then there's the Steppe. when they left those moons because of the flux event or whatever, they didn't leave in just one ship. They left in many ships. So for the Hearth and the Steppe, they had like plenty of ships, but then there was like a main capital ship. That's where like, obviously the most important people probably, like the governmental people, um, probably were located. The most critical ship, probably the biggest or the most powerful or whatever ship among them. Same with like the Steppe. However, the Ember Song's ships, there was just there's no one ship. That's that's the capital, the critical ship, I guess. That's interesting. I do like that like little bit of detail there. We told the Hearth we didn't want their scraps. The jeering voice comes out of the small crowd nearby. Oh, hold on one sec. Okay, here we go. You turn to see a gaunt, pale man wearing the industrial work gear you have seen many of the Song refugees wearing. You hear me? Oh yeah, because they don't want any of the supplies. These supplies are to help. He smirks. Oh, how noble of you, coming out here to help us singers. Oh, I love that they're called singers. The people of the Song are called singers. There's a rumble of anger around the crowd. We agreed to join the flotilla for joint protection. We did not agree to Ember's Hearth using the flotilla to secure their control of the moons. To Ember's Hearth using to secure their control of the moons. You realize Peter is addressing the crowd as much as he is addressing you. One sec. Okay. Sorry. Had to reschedule some things. But yeah, no, Peter's design is like interesting. I like his tattoos. It's got a little IV thing here. I wonder what that's fucking for. It doesn't even look like it's connected to like an IV bag or anything like that. What is he fucking getting there? Also, that's a weird location to put an IV in, right? Because like you'd think it would be like, either like towards the wrist or like right here. That'd probably be a better spot. Right here is such a weird, like what is here? Like I mean, there's not really like a good vein to connect to right there. Maybe it's something that's not connecting to a vein. Because like, we don't see like an IV bag or anything that's really it's connected to. It seems like it's connected to like a little fucking electrical switch. I don't know. I don't know what the fuck that's supposed to be. I do like these highly detailed things. Nice face tattoo thingy. Weird. Um, got a little Game Boy on his like belly. Sweet. That's sweet. With the cordon down, our crews are more than able to acquire what is needed from the eye, what is owed as restitution for keeping us restrained. He pats one of the crates you unloaded. What we need, we will take. Sol wants to cooperate. Sol's a farmer. Even the people of Song know that he was simply the sole survivor of Hearth's leadership. His authority means nothing. He was a farmer? So most of Hearth's leadership and like the government died. Maybe he was like the head of like agriculture, and that's why he's calling him a farmer, because like he is in charge of agriculture, or maybe he's even lower position than like the head there. Perfect. Peter looks around at the crowd. Hearth thinks they can buy us, but we remember the past. A rumble of agreement runs through the crowd. He smiles at them. Take the supplies if you wish, of course. We are not wasteful. Peter approaches you directly. The crowd tentatively moves forward, and by the time he reaches you, they are already dragging away crates and distributing the contents. I'm not one for shooting the messenger sleeper, says Peter as he approaches, but we cannot concede to Hearth here. Not for a moment. I don't understand. I can see that. Peter sits beside you on the docking tunnel slips. What was your plan, Sleeper? Unload the supplies and wait for someone to start throwing them back at you? He nods at the crowd rifling through the crates. Because what that's what was about to happen. They were gonna... So Peter was actually trying to help me? Were people actually that mad that I was unloading crates? I mean, no one... It did say no one was helping me unload the crates. They were probably just like looking at me and seeing me unload crates there, and they were probably getting pissed off, but they weren't doing anything. Not sure about that. Peter shrugs. What do you think happened to the crew of the shuttle? He shakes his head. They were chased out of this place. Why do they hate Hearth? We, Peter says with emphasis, do not hate Hearth. We simply do not trust them. Do you know anything about Ember's moon, Sleeper? Or were you planning to wander into the flotilla totally blind? An objective outsider offering help. He rolls his eyes. Educate me then. Yeah, I mean, we are literally just like... That is like such a fucking crazy power dynamic of like... Three... Like, imagine just like... It's like 3 different countries, but it's even more isolated or removed from that. Like, yes, like imagine if like the US, China, and like, I don't know, Russia had all fucking, I was trying to like think of like another, I feel like are Russia and China tight? I feel like they kind of are, like a little bit. But in any case, maybe that's just a very American like idea of like, oh hey, I'm gonna pick these 3, but like I feel like that would be somewhat good. But like imagine if these 3 countries were even more isolated than not just being on the same planet. We're on different, like, you know, I know we're separated by a lot of like geographically, but imagine if we were separated by like fucking space. Like we were all 3 different like not planets but moons orbiting the same like celestial body. There. I mean, yes, I do understand that there's like that like space travel here that we don't, like that level of space travel here that we don't have. But these people are isolated from each other, so of course they don't trust each other. We don't even trust like our own the people of our own planet in like real life. You know what I mean? Like there's ideological disagreements. We are not a monolith of a planet. And so it's understandable that these people don't trust like the people of other planets. I mean, I'm not advocating for space racism, which I the idea of space racism, I don't know why space racism is such a funny fucking thing, but it makes sense. And we're just walking in here. We have no knowledge of their entire moon's like, you know, planets or not planet moons history of these peoples. And we're just like, oh, well, why can't you just accept their help? Well, educate me, Peter. He smiles. It would be my pleasure. I'm going to assume you know the basics. The gas giant Ember has 7 moons. The 3 biggest are Ember's Step, a gas giant. Okay, so it's a gas giant. So, like, isn't, like, Saturn a gas giant? Or Uranus? I don't remember. So, of course, people aren't living there because it's not a fucking, like, it's not a planet that can really be inhabited. Or maybe it's not a planet. Is a gas giant different from a planet? Because I know, like, I don't know. I don't know what I know. My space shit is, like, so fucking... I used to really be interested in space, but, like, that was, like, in 5th grade. So my knowledge of, like, space is very limited. The 3 biggest are Ember's Step, Ember's Song, and Ember's Heart, he winks. We can cover the 4 sisters next session. So, did people live on the other 4 moons? And there's just not represented here? They're not part of the flotilla? Step was the first to be settled. A contract old Solheim gave to the terraformers Sybil Systems when they first claimed the Helion system. That's way back when. Oh shit. So Step, okay. Step was a testing ground, and like most testing grounds, it didn't turn out too well. A partial atmosphere slowly sloughing off each orbit, a dysfunctional ecosystem, and a whole load of dust-clogged settlers. The place is a miserable, deserted, desert long past its best before date. Oh, is that like the place where Aki's from? I think it is. Yeah, it is. That the dust, the greenhouse dust place. Blah 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 blah. So Sybil moved to Hearth, where they redoubled their efforts. The subsurface ocean and some balmy tidal heating helped, allowing them to build a real atmosphere, a real habitable world, a fact that the typical Hearth colonist won't ever let you forget. How did Sybil achieve such a thing, you might wonder? Well, that's where we come in. It's the same old rule of surrogacy. The one humanity built our universe around. Peter claps a hand to his chest in mock pride. My moon, Ember's song, is a sulfur-soaked rock covered in volcanoes, tidally heated by its inner orbit to sweltering temperatures, exactly the kind of crucible you need to fuel a terraforming project. Energy, industry, fuel. Song provided the raw materials for Hearth, Peter grimaces, willingly or not. Oh, they really fucking sucked their moon dry to make Hearth work. And a crucible requires people to run it. Us singers, born into a flaming pit, and asked to stoke it so others might live in a paradise in the making. That's what we had to endure, until Solheim brought everything down. Peter rattles off the speech from memory, and you wonder how many times he has delivered it. No Solheim, no contract. No contract, no Sybil. And no Sybil meant 3 moons suddenly independent. It was a war, Sleeper. Sometimes hot, sometimes cold, and unsurprisingly, Hearth and Steppe came out of it better than us. Oh, Steppe actually came out pretty good. Huh. Yet, Peter holds up a hand. They need us, Sleeper. Always have. And so we are the linchpin. We are the center around which the moons orbit, not swirling ember. We've resisted takeovers, sieges, and expansions, and now we'll resist this. Half the people on these ships think the flux was caused by Hearth, intentionally or otherwise, and I have to say, some cycles I agree. So before you come here to hand out supplies like a good soldier, maybe educate yourself. But you abandoned some. Peter bristles. I want you to imagine what it is like to try to live on an airless volcanic rock when every system that sustains you starts shutting down. That is a very... I actually, like, I don't agree with the character I play as. I agree with Peter. He makes a lot of fucking sense. I say some of these things just to get more information from him, but he makes really good points. He spits and wipes his sleeve across his mouth. We're abandoning nothing. Some stayed, others left, but we will reclaim Ember as soon as the flux fades or ends. We've weathered worse. Don't you need the supplies? As I said, we will take what we need when we need it. Peter stares into the axis. There's no authority that we recognize here. I won't keep you from docking Axis, Sleeper. Sorry, if I was to say, like, shouldn't the flotilla be united? They were never united in the first place. In Peter's eyes. Hearth and Steppe really took advantage of Song. So why would he unite now? I won't keep you from docking Axis, Sleeper. No one here has the authority for that, but watch yourself here. Try to remember that the Eye is just another in the long list of people who have tried to control us. I understand. I completely understand, Peter. Peter nods. And let it guide your actions. Honestly, it might, Peter. You brought up good points. Peter sighs. Look, we are many. We have many needs. Ships come to this docking axis for repairs, for requisitions, for friendship. You can provide these as well as any singer. If you want to help in your own name, Sleeper, not in that of Hearth. Peter shakes his head. Carry that name here, and you will lose all trust. Be as we are. Act in your own name alone. Peter puts a hand on your shoulder and stands. I hope I didn't just waste my time here, Sleeper. I don't think you did, Peter. I fucking don't. And with that, he walks away. Back to the shrinking crowd that is disturbing the last of the supplies amongst the crews present. You watch them pass the food and water between them. No signs of conflict between the crews, just a careful distribution of resources. Peter chats with a few crews, each of them casting looks in your direction, ones that reveal little about the singer's intentions. You stand. It seems the tensions on the flotilla run much deeper than you expected. This won't be easy. Oh shit. I can give them a ship mind. One of the things is looking for a ship mind to replace their flux damaged core. Maybe you can help them acquire one. Here you go, buddy. Here's a ship mind. Boom. One of the ships is trying to establish a mushroom farm to feed the crews. They're looking for supports to get them started. Oh, we already got this shit. This piece said the singers will only trust you if you... Let's just work on... Let's work here. Let's work on this. Boom. We did it. We got their supplies. As you cross the axis, looking for a shuttle to take you back to the ruined Cordon, you spot Peter, standing at the edge of the central hub. Something about the way he's leaning against the rail, looking down across the axis and towards the blinking lights of the flotilla beyond, makes you pause. He's completely still, his head drooping low and his shoulders hunched high. Approach him. You lean on the railing a little ways from Peter, leaving a gap between you. This close, you can see the blank stare in his eyes, the way his hands hang limply in front of him. He takes a minute to notice you. Sleeper, he inhales sharply. Still hanging around? Imagine this happened like a few days later. I know I probably shouldn't have done it right away, but I really want to see more of the story. Are you okay? Peter pauses. Not really. No. Peter closes his eyes. You can feel his mind whirling. The thoughts refusing to be still. You know, Sleeper, he says without opening his eyes, no one asked you to come here. He clenches his jaw. So why don't you just get lost? He looks directly at you, his stare a challenge. What's with you? Peter stands back from the railing. Who invited you, Sleeper? Who said you could come here? You think because the Harthers decided to name you their errand boy we have to put up with you? We don't want you here. We don't need you. His eyes burn with rage. Go home, you stupid machine! A second after he shouts that final line, he collapses in on himself, staying upright, but all the energy going out of his body. He slumps back against the railing, his eyes closed once more. You wait. After a while, he speaks. I'm tired, Sleeper. Tired of everything. I'm tired of the empty paternalism of Hearth. I'm tired of the paranoid whining of the crews. I'm tired of endless cycles that look the same, smell the same, feel the same. I'm tired of running, of hiding, of fixing every shitty thing that breaks out here. His shouts echo a little in the hub, but few stop to look. He gets down on his feet. Everyone is tired. Peter doesn't react. He stands. I'm going to go. He looks at you and sniffs. Get some sleep. Sleep well. Peter nods slowly, turning away. He raises the hand and drifts away toward the center of the hub. You turn back to the railing, not wanting to watch him go. Seeing him like this, prefer not to stare. The traffic of the axis rumbles on as you watch, under an endlessly shining sun. The same air recycled through all of these lungs, the same dust gathering speck by speck on the windows. You take a sharp breath, stand straight, and get moving, before the inertia of it all gets to you too. Damn. Got more shit I need to do here. Since this is safe, we should probably just do this. Oh, we got it. Means we're feeling the pressure of all of... Soul finds you deep in the layers of the Pilgrim Seed, working on a patch for a life support vent. You hear him coming, his suit hissing as he does. I had to ask around to find you, he smiles. Seems you know the place better than me these days. Doubt it. Soul nods. I was on the work crew that built this thing, so maybe you are right, he winks. Soul holds out a hand. Stand up and let me see you, he pulls you to your feet. I don't believe we ever had a sleeper on Ember's hearth. Soul looks you up and down. You sure do make me wish we had. Could have done with a few workers as good as you. Thank you. Soul nods. You're welcome. Seems like I owe you some answers, seeing as you've been working hard on the Pilgrim Seed these past cycles. He leans against a crate, his suit creaking. What do you want to know about? I want to know about the flux. Soul sighs. That's what I imagined, he scratches his beard. I can't say I'm an expert, but I can tell you what we witnessed on Hearth. At first we ignored it. A few farms had their automation systems blink out. Lifter suits locked. Oh yeah, because their farms are like fucking like automate, like like uh very scientific kind of areas, because like what's the word? It's like very clinical, you know what I mean? Like it's very like greenhouse, not really greenhouse, but like greenhouse, like robotic greenhouse kind of thing, because these places had to be terraformed. Um, Lifter suits locked up, bots reset their schedules, nothing we hadn't seen before. But then the news came out of Passeros that they'd been hit harder. What the fuck is Passero? Is that like a city there, I guess? The local network had gone down and no one could get it back up. It was rough for a while. But on the farmland, we were used to that. Passero? Capital of Hearth. Tens of thousands of souls made it to their home. Okay, it's the capital. Anyway, we thought the flux was a freak event until the day they got the network running again. That's when the cascade happened. System after system corrupted. Data lost. Then another flux hit. And another. The bots were running circles in the field. People had to be cut out of lifter suits like mine. In the city, I never saw it, but I heard from the others. Soul shivers. It only got worse from there. We couldn't seem to fight it. It cut us right open. That's what I know about the flux. Some folks say it came from the inner circle system, that it might be connected to some old tech there, or something. But I never heard anything more than rumors. Hold on. Anyway, I'm gonna read this again just to get. Wait, not the flux. That's when the cast system after system data lost, and then the flux, then another flux hit. The bots were running in circles in the field. People had to cut out their lifter suits like mine. Oh, is that why he looks like? I don't know why, if that's the case of why. In the city, I never saw it, but I heard. Only got worse from there. We couldn't seem to fight it. It cut us right open. Some folks say it came from the inner system, that I might be connected to some old tech there and something, but never heard anything more than rumors. I'm getting nervous that this is going to spread to the eye. Soul scratches their beard. Sorry I don't have better news. Soul shifts on the crate. Anything else you wanted to ask? There was something. Soul nods. What do you want to know about? Ember's Hearth. Sure, he smiles. I mean, spent my whole life on that rock, so I've plenty to tell. I'll save my life story for another time, he winks. But the short of it is that Hearth is the first of Ember's moons. Wait, I thought technically the steppe was the first of Ember's moons. Because the steppe was like the prototype kind of thing. They were testing it out, and then the Hearth was the one that was like the first big one that like really took off. But maybe because he's from Hearth, he sees it as like, well, Steppe was first, but it didn't really work out too well, and it works now, but like, Hearth was the main one. Oh, I forgot I can reroll. I forgot I could reroll. That's a big one. I should have remembered that. I forgot I can reroll. I forgot all my abilities. Hearth is the first of Ember's moon, the biggest and the most popular, which is down to the successful terraforming system Sybil set up back when Solheim owned the system. We already know about it. How are the relations with the other moons? Soul smiles. Depending on who you've been talking to. Depends on who you've been talking to. You shouldn't mistake me for a politician, Sleeper. That's for others to do. He gives you a look. But Ember's Steppe was a test grounds for terraforming tech that Hearth is built on, while Ember Song was the extraction site for the raw materials and energy needed to make it work. You can imagine that might lead to some tension. However, Soul holds up a hand. Despite what people might say, Hearth was never fully stable. Soul shakes his head. Sybil liked to talk it up, but after they pulled out and Solheim left, our people discovered they'd have to keep the systems running themselves, or the place would soon end up as dry as steppe. Hearth was good as long as the evaporators kept running, kept filling our skies with clouds. Even after the collapse, our people kept those things going, turning that subsurface ocean into a periwinkle blue sky. Soul smiles. Flux ended that, though. And when they failed, the rains failed. And the harvest with it, Soul pauses. And soon you have a city without a way to feed itself, Soul Shutters. That's when we, some of us, made the decision to set out on this place. He gestures at the Pilgrim Seed and look for another future. Soul shifts on the crate. Anything else you wanted to ask? There was something. What do you want to know about? You. Soul squints at you. You want to know about me? The city. Oh, sorry. When they failed, the rains failed, the harvest. That's. Yeah, because of the flux, these people left, but not everyone left. Some people stayed on the moons, but these people were like, no, the flux has destroyed our way of life here. We're going to die if we stay here. We need to find somewhere else. You want to know about me? I'm not sure that was part of the deal I was thinking of, Sleeper. Unless you are asking about this. He raps on the metal of his suit. Unless you're asking about this. In case you haven't guessed, this is the only thing keeping me vertical. He adjusts a shoulder piece. It's a lifter suit, made for working the fields. We had to modify it so I could walk around after the accident. Oh shit, he's paraplegic. That explains the fucking head brace. And that's all I'm saying, Sleeper. Because to be honest with you, I don't know you more than that. You want to know about the flux, about Ember's Hearth? Go ahead. But don't pry into my life, and I won't pry into yours. So lets the silence sit, staring hard at the floor. The suit seems to loom over him, looking more like a burden than a support. With the bars around his head, you suddenly start to think of it as a cage. Look, I don't mean to be rude. Let's leave it there. There's too many eyes on me on this ship as it is. I'd rather just slip into the background. Thank you very much. Soul shifts on the crate. Anything else you wanted to ask? Was there something else? Soul nods. What do you want to know about? Something buzzes on Soul's suit. He glances at it and frowns. Looks like time's up, Sleeper. Soul stands, flexing against the suit. He takes his can in his hand. Keep it up, Sleeper. He smiles as he leaves. You're making me think I need to start making new plans for this place. With that, Soul leaves, and you wonder what he means. As he creaks away down the corridor, you can't help but feel there's more to him than it seems. So, I got another 2. Cool. Ooh. I only have a 2. I don't think I should be doing that. Cross the rim. We'll get a bird. What is this? Oh yeah, right, okay. Oh, the noodle factory. I forgot about noodles. Oh, the tea house. Yeah, here we go. Start that shit. We'll ferry on over back to the Greenway. The farms. Oh, wait, barter for food. I could just do this one. I didn't realize that. Okay, I don't need to go all the way back every time. Can we get more growth spores? I think it's better if we try and get some spores. Ah, suck my dick. Suck my dick in 2 pieces. How long do I have to wait? Oh, I need to put more spores in here. Oh, I need to get more spores. We should probably start doing that. Yeah, let's end the cycle. Let's end this fucking cycle. Cycle of life and death. And last second was save was 30 seconds ago, so let's fucking end this now.